I'm kind of curious just about how you got to. I think that's where we were talking about before is how you got to Colorado.
Oh, how I got to Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Well, gee, I was leaving the service and didn't have any plan after that. I just, it was just so hard to get out. All my energy went into getting out versus
Mm-hmm.
versus what to do once I broke free of the military.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, basically, after I got back from Vietnam, I literally slept for a week.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get up for an hour a day to eat something and go to the bathroom, and then I'd just fall asleep again.
Wow.
I was in my brother's house up in Connecticut for a week, asleep
Where were you in Connecticut?
in my brother's house.
Where was that?
New Canaan, it's called.
Do you remember the address?
Oh, I could probably have it stored somewhere in piles of boxes.
Mm. But your brother Bob was in New Canaan?
Yeah.
Oh.
And after that, I just woke up and said, well, gee whiz, what I miss the most and would like to do the most is go ski.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is. I was getting out of the service in February. No, wait a minute. I was coming back from Vietnam, and it was late winter, early spring, and I got some leave from the Army, and just took off for Aspen. I was going to go back to Europe to ski because I knew it, and I said, well, I've never been to any skiing in Rockies, so the first name that popped into mind was Aspen, Colorado. So I found out that you could fly into Denver and then rent a car and drive to Aspen. So that's what I did.
So you were in Connecticut for a week, and then you went
Went to Aspen, Colorado.
straight to Aspen
Uh-huh.
within a week of getting back from Vietnam.
Yeah. And I went out there for a couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and stayed at the cheapest place I could find, which was the Little Red Ski House. And really enjoyed that because people were coming there from all over the country, and it was inexpensive, but it had a certain atmosphere, a certain flavor to it,
Mm-hmm.
Certain people who were dedicated to skiing and didn't need all the extra fluff and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met some people there, and we skied together a little bit, and then I just went out and skied every day.
Mm-hmm.
And got a little bored with that on one hand, and on the other hand, got really to the point where I liked Aspen. And what I did was get my leave extended a third week and went on a ski tour
Mm-hmm.
with a couple guys named Jim Babcock and Lars Larson. Jim Babcock owned the lodge I was staying in, and Lars was a ski touring guide who had a business as a ski touring guide there.
Mm-hmm.
He was from Norway. He turned out to be a real good friend I've lost contact with, wish I could find again.
Hmm.
And I ended up spending 3 weeks there, and then went back to my duty assignment that ended up being at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, because I told him, I said, listen, I'm not going to go back to Vietnam again. I cannot, in good conscience, stand up in front of a bunch of young American soldiers and tell them to follow me to Vietnam and be their company commander in Vietnam when
Mm-hmm.
I just totally didn't agree with it myself,
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up quitting parachuting, which I dearly loved. It was just a thrill of a lifetime. It's jumping out of an airplane and
Mm-hmm.
pulling a parachute and going for a ride. The beauty of it all and the thrill of it all. And I gave that up. And ended up spending the last 9 months in the service teaching communications to engineer students at the Engineer Center in Fort Belvoir. Engineer to the Army is the people who build the roads and build the bridges for the Army to move, basically, and build the airstrips and stuff.
Where is that fort?
Fort Belvoir, Virginia. It's south along the Potomac River, south of Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you went from Colorado to Virginia, and then once that was up, where'd you go?
Back to Colorado, because Lars Larson was ready to give me a job as a ski touring guide.
Oh, cool.
In Aspen again. So I ended up staying in the Little Red Ski House again and working for Lars. You know, it's seen how it performed on this one trek that we all went on, which was really difficult. It was a climb over what's called Pearl Pass, in carrying backpacks in the wintertime, on aching feet, and blizzard winds in your face and everything else, all to go find some powder snow. We skied from Aspen to Crested Butte. So anyway, this next winter, when I was permanently out of the Army and permanently living in Aspen, I went on another ski tour with some of the same people. Larson was leading it, and we skied from Aspen to Crested Butte, over East Maroon Pass, which is another high mountain pass, another winter crossing of the Rockies, which is, you know, a real adventure, real challenge. You really had to know what you were doing. One of the real thrills of that trip over East Maroon Pass was a lesson I learned, that it's really always worth it to try, even if there's the remotest chance that you can succeed at something. Picture this: here at sundown, in East Maroon Pass, high up in the Rockies. I don't know what the elevation is, but it's above timberline. We're all one at a time. We're coming down in the dark in this little cul-de-sac, hole, whatever you want to call it, little bowl, and we're one at a time. We were going down there. Well, I was one of the first couple of people down, and we were kind of getting ourselves organized at timberline, where we were all going to stop and regroup. And this lady started off at the top and went across, traversed across, and then fell. And her ski came off. Okay? We didn't have a spare ski for this lady. So what I did, without even thinking about it, was just take a run on my skis. I'm running on skis, and I took a big leap with one foot and jumped out, and darned if I didn't trap that ski with between my boot and my ski, clamped down on it, caught it before it went into the woods.
Oh, she lost her ski and then you went and chased after it?
And caught it.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, aha. Because my thought was, I'll never make it, but I'm going to try. And I tried. I succeeded.
That's cool.
Yeah, it really is. Because it's just a remote chance that it would work. But I gave it a try and it worked.
Is East Maroon Pass?
East Maroon Pass.
Maroon. Maroon Pass.
So the color, the Maroon Pass is named after the maroon bells, which are three real pretty red rock formations. You know, there's Maroon Lake and the Maroon Bells and East Maroon Pass and East Maroon Creek and on and on and on.
And you were getting paid to do that?
Yeah. I wasn't getting rich, that's for sure.
You were a
but
ski...
I was earning a little bit of income.
What was your job title?
I was just a ski touring guide.
Okay, with Lars.
We weren't formal enough to have titles.
How many people were in that group that you were guiding?
Lars and myself as guides, and 3 other people, I believe.
Who had paid to go?
Who had paid.
And you were going from Aspen to Crested Butte? hiking there or what?
Hiking, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Just an adventure in the winter hike.
how long did that take?
Um, we started off like at 6 o'clock in the morning. I think it was out of a town called Ashcroft, a
Mm-hmm.
ghost town. That was a trailhead to go to the trail that leads over East Maroon Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us 12 hours to get to the pass. And then we skied down through the forest and got basically down into the next valley. And I stayed there to wait with the party we were leading, and Lars went into town and contacted a snowmobile group, and they came out and gave us snowmobile rides the rest of the way into Crested Butte, into town.
So you hiked for 12 hours?
More than that.
You and the people you were with?
Uh-huh.
And then once you got to the pass, then you skied down?
Uh-huh.
For how long?
Probably 3 or 4 hours.
Skied for 3 or 4 hours. Was it mostly downhill or?
Uh-huh, yeah. Through the woods,
Wow.
on trails.
Hmm.
Logging trails, jeep trails.
Was it really steep or no?
No. Once
Just
we
kind
got
of
off that
kind of
last
smooth.
lip, it wasn't steep.
It was a smooth. And then you guys went to sleep, or then you got the snowmobile rides?
Yeah, then we got the snowmobile rides into town. Then we went into town and got some rest and
You-
arranged for transportation back to Aspen.
So it's just
And I don't remember the rest of it, huh?
it was a day, kind of a 1-day event.
It turned into a 2-day event.
What time do you guys get to Crested Butte?
Well after midnight.
So how exhausted was everybody?
Pretty tired, but everybody was fit.
It was kind of fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Huh.
It's one of those, I've accomplished something, fun things, rather than, oh boy, are we having a good time with the cold wind in our face and
Mhm.
fatigue in our muscles and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Hmm. So that's kind of one example of as a skiing touring guide, like what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then,
But a lot of times we'd go out just locally near Aspen and go hike in somewhere and camp out with tents and stuff.
hmm.
Up, on the Aspen side of the ridges.
Mm-hmm.
And camp out overnight and ski back the next day.
And so you were living in Aspen at that time, and then from that point on, did you ever leave the state again? Or live in a different state, or did you stay in Colorado for a while?
Well, I went back east to visit family
Mm-hmm.
and figure out what I was going to do next, because it was obvious that I wasn't going to make a living in Aspen and be able to raise a family or anything else and live well. You guys, for example, have had a pretty good life everywhere we've gone.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'd stayed in Aspen, we'd probably still be living in a trailer and wondering where the next paycheck was going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, I got out of the Army with no marketable skills.
Mm-hmm. So you were in Aspen for that winter,
Yeah.
and then you went back to the East Coast to visit?
That summer was kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Because after the snow melted in the middle of April and everything closed up, a friend of mine and I took off exploring because we didn't have anything to do until the summer season. So we took off. He was from Chicago and I was from everywhere else, and we just went wandering, just into Utah and back into Colorado just to see what was out there. And
Who was that guy?
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
I wish I did.
And you met him how?
He was working in Aspen,
Oh, okay.
just doing general work. I forget what he was working at.
Oh, okay.
What you'll find in resorts, and maybe you found this already, is people with education and skills and that sort of thing, taking just day jobs like working as a cook in a restaurant, or busboy, or just ski lift operator, anything they can get to afford to hang out at the ski resort for a season. There was a lot of that going on, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way for somebody to um, support their chance to go adventuring and exploring in a new place. Doesn't have to. It can be a beach resort in Florida, the Keys that you were always curious about,
Mm-hmm.
or that sort of thing.
And I guess the battery's low.
Oh, okay.
I guess I should have charged it more.
That's all right.
But
Want
so
to take
you,
a time out?
I guess briefly, like, you went back to the East Coast to visit family?
Yeah, but you know, you've that summer was kind of interesting because
okay.
that summer, when we got back from our big trip, which was my first trip through Durango,
Oh, yeah.
after we got back, I was invited to work for Colorado Outward Bound, teaching young people mountaineering skills and camping skills and interpersonal skills and trust skills in the mountains and
Mm-hmm.
leadership skills and stuff like that. They're a good organization. But I kept missing them because every time I'd come into town, I'd check for my messages, and then I'd go out camping somewhere
Mm-hmm.
with friends of mine. I was just outdoors all the time, and kept a bunk in that bunkhouse, Little Red Ski House in Aspen. And
Was that first trip through Durango when you decided you really liked the place?
yeah, well, it was nice. It was one of the many.
But that's when you got a flat tire or whatever, or ran out of gas?
Ran out of gasoline. Forgot.
Oh, so how old were you then?
Gee whiz. Well,
Or my age?
uh,
Or younger?
27, 28.
Yeah, my age.
Uh-huh.
Huh. And you were up near Silverton? You were up near Silverton when that happened, right?
Well, yeah, you know, you get over Coal Bank Pass, and then you drop down,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to climb back up to Mullis Pass.
Mm-hmm.
We ran out of gas between Coal Bank Pass and Mullis Pass,
Oh.
so we couldn't push the car downhill
Mm-hmm.
either forward or backward. We were stuck in this bowl, you know. We were in the bottom between the two passes, the lowest elevation.
Hmm.
So if somebody hadn't come along and helped us, we wouldn't have had help.
Yeah. Yeah. Time to take a break,
Time for a break?
you think?
Okay. We'll go charge up the battery and